Hello, my friends. I'm Bee. This is Bee's Intuition, and today we're going to do a reading because this is seen as a time of darkness in terms of Yule. With the winter solstice coming up, that is when the light is starting to return to us, and this is all on a spiritual level, it's not necessarily actually. Never mind. The winter solstice does indicate that the light is coming back, but I'm talking, I guess, more spiritually. So, what is this time of darkness triggering for you, the collective? I feel like this might be useful. This might be interesting to kind of dive into because if you think about the darkness, and maybe I personally think of the moon card in tarot, and what that represents, everything being cloaked in darkness, the fact that things are hidden, we do not see clearly, there's confusion, there's also fear. And so I think that in that time of darkness we can be triggered, especially with losing daylight hours. It affects our mental health in so many ways. So yeah, I think this would be an interesting topic to kind of dive into. So that's going to be the topic of this reading. What is being triggered in this time of darkness for the collective? Okay, so let's just dive right into it. Okay. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is being triggered for the collective right now? Please and thank you. In this time of darkness, please and thank you. What is being triggered for the collective? Okay, so I had a couple flip over inside here. Let's see. Ooh, interesting. Interesting. Ooh, very interesting. Oh, I love interesting readings like this. Okay, I just want to make sure that there's no other ones that are flipped over inside the deck. Sorry if you hear that in the background. My kitty is playing with something. She loves to just play with random papers on the floor. Anyways, excuse me. Let's see. So, what we have the Hermit card. Okay. And then we have the Three of Swords, Six of Pentacles, bottom of the deck, the Devil card. I think this is going to be an interesting reading. Okay, so let's just start clarifying, shall we? Starting with that Hermit card, please and thank you, Spirit. What is being triggered for the collective during this time of darkness in relation to the Hermit card? Please and thank you, Spirit. Oh my goodness. Holy moly. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Ooh. Ooh. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so clarifying the Hermit, we have the Eight of Cups coming out in this direction. Eight of Swords upright. 888 could be significant for you, or just eights in general. Last reading that I did, there was also repeating numbers, so interesting that happened. We have the Death card, and then the Fool card follows that. I find the Death card and the Fool card to be a very interesting combination. And then bottom of the deck is the Sun card. Ooh, 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 ooh. I like it. Okay. So I feel like, okay, so first off, this is all clarifying the Hermit card. Yeah, you could be very called to isolate during this time. I feel like it's pretty normal for that to happen, to be honest, especially this time of year where there's less daylight. We tend to kind of spend more time in bed or tend to try and rest as much as possible. Yes, so you may be called to rest a lot, but the Hermit does indicate that there's a lot of self-reflection going on. So I feel like that's, well, honestly, that is very on point for this time of year in general. End of the year, we tend to reflect on things, because I think that the Hermit is a lot about like exploring one's own soul to see what answers your own soul can answer for you. You know, it's like taking a deep dive into yourself and really trying to kind of go past the ego and just past the consciousness, even to kind of take a very deep look into what is it that I want? What is it that I want to achieve? What is it that I want to let go of? You know, like what is not making me happy? What would make me happier? You know, and it's all about finding that guiding light that is your own knowledge. So I feel like that's something that you could definitely be called to do during this time. A lot of self-reflection, maybe time of meditation, getting in touch with spirit. Maybe you want to connect more with spirit during this time. But a lot of connection to the self and self-isolating. And because it is the Hermit card, I don't see this as necessarily a bad thing. But of course, you know, if you do start to feel more depressed because of that self-isolation, I would definitely recommend to kind of like reach out to friends or just try to like open up a little bit more to others if that is going to help you make you feel better, because it's so important to do the things during this time of year that help make you feel better, especially because of seasonal affective disorder, and just, you know, depression and mental health can kind of take a downturn during this time of year. So definitely embrace those things that are going to make you happy. And also maybe those things that are going to comfort you as well, because I'm also like kind of getting a image in my mind right now of this Hermit card in the form of like somebody kind of bundled up in their blanket, maybe in bed and watching like a childhood movie or like a comfort movie. That could be something that you want to embrace as well. I'm also getting an image of hot cocoa with mini marshmallows. I just bought some mini marshmallows earlier for some hot cocoa, so that seems super cozy and nice. Yeah, I feel like you want a time of comfort, and I feel like you want some sense of control over your own environment, and I think that that is totally normal and pretty healthy if that is what you find yourself needing during this time. With the Eight of Cups coming out in this direction, you could be contemplating leaving something behind that no longer serves you. So like there is that releasing process, which, you know, the last reading I did was kind of about that, releasing things before the new year or going into the new year. And this could be, it honestly kind of feels a little bit like hesitation when it comes out like this to me. There could be something in your life that you feel like you must release or let go of or move past, but maybe it's difficult for you to do that. And you know, a lot of the times when it comes to the Eight of Cups, if something is no longer emotionally fulfilling you and you have to let go of it, that is a difficult process. It's even difficult to admit to yourself that that is something that you need to do. So I think that you should definitely be kind with yourself if you feel like there is some sort of hang up here where it's like, I know I should get rid of this negative mindset, or I should try to limit my time with that family member that makes me feel really bad about myself. You know, like there's a bunch of different things that it could be, and a lot of reasons why it's difficult to do. And I think that's kind of what this Eight of Swords is indicating. It's like, to be honest, you may even be sort of overthinking it to an extent. Maybe you're worried that if you let it go, that there will be nothing better that will fill its place. And I think that that is definitely not true. I think that when we do release the things that no longer serve us, we do allow in, first we through getting rid of the things that no longer serve us, there's a space there now. And that space can now be filled by the people that are actually meant for you, or the mindsets that are healthier, or, you know, anything really, you know? And with the Eight of Swords, there is a sense of feeling trapped. The Eight of Swords is very much about that, like, it's almost the illusion of being trapped, to be honest, because she actually has way more control over this situation than she thinks that she does. And she can actually get herself out of this sticky situation that she finds herself in. But it's the idea of, I can't get out of this. There's no way out. I'm stuck here. This is my fate, you know? In more of like a sad kind of defeated sort of energy. And so you could feel like that whatever this is that you need to release or want to release, that for some reason it's stuck, or you're stuck with this thing, or there's no way that you can get rid of it. So maybe that's mostly what that hang up is about, is just thinking like, how can I possibly get rid of this thing in my life that does not fulfill me anymore? But I think that it just may be your limited perception of the thing. Maybe if you take a step back and see it from a more objective point of view, or a more distance point of view, you may see that there is a solution that, okay, for some reason I'm getting the phrase that is staring you in the face. So there could be some solution that you may have not thought of. And to be honest, this sort of energy, the Eight of Swords, I feel like is very much about kind of being stuck. Like, you know, when we do self-isolate with that Hermit card and say we only have ourselves to kind of bounce ideas off of, or to reflect with, and it's just yourself, we have our own limitations. We have our own perceptions that are limiting. There's so much that is limited within us, and that's not to say that that's a bad thing. It's just we can only reflect so much before we hit a brick wall, you know, where it's just like you can't really go any further. And eventually, sometimes you can even start to kind of go in cycles, you know, and overthink things to the nth degree, where it's just like, I really can't get out of this situation. But in those times when we start to feel like there's no way out, or we start to spiral to such an extent that we feel very much out of control, I find that those are the best times to incorporate other people, to bounce ideas off of, to get new perspectives of things. Because, you know, especially if it's somebody that's not even involved in the situation, they may have a completely different perception of or perspective of things, and can see a solution for that issue, or a solution to leave a situation that you feel trapped in, much clearer than you would be able to, because you're involved in that situation. It's much more personal and close to you, you know? So Spirit could even be trying to encourage you to kind of open up a little bit more and allow other people to sort of collaborate with you. Share those moments of bouncing ideas off of each other, sharing different perspectives, sharing different knowledge, or information. And that's the beautiful thing about coming together and community and having people in your life to help you through those kinds of moments, is because we kind of need other people to an extent when it comes to finding solutions that we cannot find for ourselves. And so Spirit may be encouraging you to maybe open up a little bit more, even if that's difficult, because it is, you know, especially if it's a very difficult topic or something that you like is really close to your heart, and, you know, if it's based around trauma or mental health or things that impact those things. Yeah, it's probably going to be difficult to open up about those things. It's going to be difficult to admit that you're struggling, admit that you need help. But that may be exactly what you need to do in order to see the solution to your issue here. Because, like, also the Eight of Swords, although this person does feel trapped, she can free herself. And so I feel like maybe just even reminding yourself that, okay, maybe I don't have the solution right now, but that does not mean that the solution does not exist, you know? You may just need another perspective of the situation in order to see that more clearly. The Death card following that, I feel like there is maybe an ego death that you could be going through, and it feels kind of maybe even connected to this situation, or just due to you being in a hermit phase in general. I think that, and I'll just use myself as an example, I struggle sometimes with asking other people for help. Even if I have a million things to do, on my plate that one person can't possibly handle on their own. I struggle with opening up to other people and asking them for help. And when I really do take a good hard look at it, it's most likely my ego that is holding me back from asking for help. It's the fear of other people judging me, other people judging my situation, my circumstance, my own feelings that are probably given to me by how I was socialized or how I was raised in life, like feeling like an inconvenience, all of those things. They block us from opening up to others and allowing others to help us. And I think that that's also another important part, is when it comes to our friends, our family, the people that truly love us and care about us, they want us to ask them for help. They want to feel like they are needed in your life. Because if especially if you align with this sort of message that I'm sharing right now about like not being able to ask other people for help very easily, you may be the person that people go to, and maybe you're the one that usually comes up with the solutions and helps other people with their problems. But if they're not allowed to help you back, not only will that negatively affect you and cause you potentially to struggle a little bit more, but it also may be negatively impacting those friends, because how will they ever show you how much you mean to them if you don't give them the opportunity to do that, And I'm speaking, just as much to myself in this moment as I am to you. But yeah, the ego really sort of spins a web that maybe we don't see as being the ego, but it's kind of like a spider spinning a web. Sometimes we don't see that spider web if we're walking through the woods or whatever, and then we walk through a bush or something, and all of a sudden we feel spider web all over our arms, and we're like, oh my god. Or say you're a fly and you're just flying along, and then you're like, boop, okay, now I'm stuck in the spider web. I feel like that's kind of how the ego can be in certain regards, where it's like, it's very hard to detect when our ego is at play, but it plays a bigger part than I think we realize most of the time. And so maybe you're kind of with this self-reflection, with considering this situation that you're trying to move on from or remove or release, that you're overthinking. You may come to this point where you're like, this is probably my ego that is holding me back. And there's a part of the ego that really has to do with like how do I word this? For lack of a better term, the mask that we put on to the public, or to our outside people, outside the home. There's a certain mask that we put on, and I don't really like the term mask for this sort of instance, because sometimes that mask can be true to who we are, but maybe it's not completely telling the whole truth. That's the thing. And that mask, we can feel like we need to live up to that mask. So say, for instance, if I'm the person that helps everybody fix their problems, I identify with that mask of being the person that people go to, right? And so when it comes to those moments when, say, I need other people to help me, I'm much more afraid to ask people for help, to allow people to help me, because I identify so strongly with that mask of being the person that everybody goes to. Like, I can't possibly be that person and also ask for help. And I think that that's where the ego kind of tricks us. It's like, well, technically you can be both of those people, and just because you ask your friends for help, that's not gonna make them run away. That's not gonna make them hate you, And if anything, it could just help you strengthen your relationships with those people. But we get so hung up on our image, that we project onto the world, and or we project into the world. And so in those moments where something within us, our needs, our desires, conflicts with that mask, it causes a lot of issues. But I feel like you are reflecting on this and you're realizing that something needs to change here. And I do, oh my gosh. And the death card is really about that transformation, that rebirth, which is also a theme of Yule. And I have been, if you missed the last reading I did, I've been trying to sort of theme these readings in December around themes that are connected to Yule. So rebirth and renewal could definitely be a theme that you're encountering. But yeah, it's like you're realizing that you have to let something go. You have to release something, that you need to change and transform in some way. But for your betterment and for the betterment of all, even. I just love that it's followed by the Fool card because I get this sense of freedom with the Fool. So it's like once you do release that ego that is holding you back, that is telling you you can't ask your friends for help, you can't depend on other people, you have to do everything by yourself, and you can't ever show that you're struggling. You know, getting rid of that voice, getting rid of that ego or that part of the ego that is holding you back, restricting you, especially when it comes to your own betterment and growth. It's like, yeah, that needs to go. That needs to be thrown into the garbage. I need to change. And it's like when you do embrace that change, that rebirthing into maybe a new version of yourself that is not so ruled by the ego, there's a sense of freedom that comes along with that. A feeling of like, wow, things are looking so much better now. And I feel like this could even be you after connecting with friends, asking them for help, them helping you, and then you feel this sense of gratitude, right? Like, oh my gosh, how lucky am I to have a friend that is willing to support me through my difficult times in life? Because like, I think that that is one of the best parts of friendship and what makes friendship so special. The fact that they are able to help us, we're able to help them. And it's something that you can look to and reflect on. Like, wow, do you remember when my friend helped me with this? That was so nice of them, and I'm so lucky to have them in my life. And like, there's really like so much optimism and excitement and renewed sense of energy. Even there's so many things that I feel like are going to happen for you when you do finally face your ego and try to overcome that voice, you know, that is telling you that you can't open up to others, that you can't allow other people to help you. And the Fool card is really about new beginnings as well. So it's like you can completely reinvent yourself, have a new beginning that is so much more hopeful and filled with so much more optimism for the future. You're going to feel so much lighter and so much more blessed. Like there's definitely something about gratitude there that I feel like will come with that, especially when you allow those around you to help you. And then the Sun card, I love the Fool and the Sun card like that. Like that's so beautiful because the Sun always does stick out to me in the Fool card because it's right here up in the corner here. And here's the Sun right here. Like, oh my gosh. Like the sun is rising in your life. Like I feel like, and also with the theme of Yule, like returning, the light returning to us after our time of darkness. Your mental health could definitely be improving, especially if you do have this ego death and you sort of like, you know, face that, realize that, make those changes. I feel like this sense of like renewed sense of self, renewed energy, just like higher energy, like happier mindsets, more positive mindsets, gratitude, feeling like things are actually coming together in a positive way. I feel like that is so important here to remember that things can and they will change for the better, you know? Even if we don't see how, you know, in the current moment. Even if we don't see the way you know, the path to from going to this time of struggling to this time of lightness and freedom. The path is there. It's almost like you just have to trust that it's there, even if it's invisible at the current moment, you know? I also think that there's like this sense of trusting the divine as well. So it's like trusting that the divine will show you that path if you need them to show you the way. Wow. This is just so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I really love this part of the reading. So in terms of what is triggering you, I think it definitely could be releasing things, maybe overthinking things. And if you do relate to the asking for help part, then that could also be a part of it. But I feel like you're definitely overcoming that trigger. And it's for the better. For the best, honestly. Like, this is the best possible outcome you could get for this. I really do see you making those changes that are necessary to make in order for you to feel that sense of freedom. And that sense of freedom is coming. Oh. I love that energy. I kind of want to just like stay in that energy. It's just so warm and cozy. Okay, let's go on to the Three of Swords now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is the collective feeling triggered? Or how is the collective feeling triggered during this time of darkness in relation to this Three of Swords? Please and thank you, Spirit. In relation to this Three of Swords, please and thank you. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. Very interesting. Okay, clarifying that Three of Swords. We have the Page of Wands coming out in this direction. Judgment coming out in this direction. The Moon coming out in this direction. The Five of Pentacles coming out in this direction. Knight of Pentacles upright. And then bottom of the deck, Knight of Wands. Okay. Let's take a gander, shall we? See what this is trying to say. So the Three of Swords, I think, is a time of pain, you know? Especially when it comes to love or just relationships in general. I feel like, especially if you're in that hermit mode of reflecting on things, you may be feeling, if you're reflecting on your past love life or just relationships with people that have hurt you, you may be slightly ruminating in that energy, but it's not without purpose, I want to say. And, you know, I do think that ruminating in, you know, the mindset of like, oh, I'm really bad at love or nobody loves me and stuff like that. I do think that it can be a bad thing, especially when it's to such an excessive extent and you don't try to move yourself out of that period of time. Then that can be where it kind of is like a slippery slope there. But I feel like for some reason it feels reasonable, the amount of ruminating that you're doing on pains from the past, especially when it comes to dealing with others who have hurt you. But it doesn't feel like you're going to be staying in that energy for very long because of that Page of Wands and the Judgment and that Moon card coming out in this direction. I feel like that's actually a really good thing, especially the Page of Wands, because the Page of Wands is about finding that optimism and embodying that sense of optimism. So I feel this sense of you looking back on your past and seeing like how things haven't worked out. But I do see, as much as I do see that part, I do see there is like a little flicker of hope, a little flame within you that is saying, I deserve better. I can do better. I can open myself up to people that will treat me better. Like there's definitely more of a sense of optimism, even if it is just a tiny little flame inside of you. It is still there and it's still speaking to you. And it feels like you want to embrace that. You want to go towards that sense of optimism. And then with that Judgment card, oh, that's interesting. I'm getting this message about giving it to Spirit. So there could even be some, yeah. Honestly, I am picking up pretty strong spiritual vibes in this reading. I'm not sure if it's necessarily coming through the cards, but I feel it, you know? There's something about maybe embracing your spirituality, or maybe if you're not a spiritual person, maybe just kind of getting more in touch with your subconscious or humanity. But it does feel quite spiritual, because it feels like almost this sense of like releasing and giving it to Spirit to take care of. Like, this is no longer something that I should be stressing over. I'm going to give it to Spirit. Spirit will sort things out for me. And so you could even be thinking, if this is related to your love life from the past and things haven't worked out for a long time, maybe you're trying to trust Spirit, that Spirit will be sending you the right people, that will Spirit will be guiding you down the right path, you know? It definitely feels strongly like this sense of trusting Spirit, maybe even trusting in the process. Like, yeah, my past may be filled with pain and hurt and people mistreating me, but that doesn't mean that my future is going to be like that. And there could be definitely something there, like a sense of hope for the future that you want to embrace. And who knows, maybe talking with Spirit or just embracing your spirituality during this time could help you feel that sense of like, you know what, everything is going to be okay. Even if I don't see how, it's going to be okay. And then that Moon card coming out like this as well, I feel like that is kind of going along the lines of what I was just saying, in terms of you may not know the way or see the way out, or, you know, see a future yet of people treating you well. Doesn't mean that it's not coming. Doesn't mean that it's not on your path, that it's not your destiny, your fate. I feel like you are definitely destined and fated for something much better than what you have experienced in the past. And I think that Spirit is definitely playing a part in that. Because it feels like you want to still have hope. You want to give the things you cannot control to Spirit. And with that Moon card, it's like those areas of not seeing things clearly, maybe areas of confusion and fear, you know, fear about the future, fear of the unknown, right? It's like you want to embrace the possibilities, the positive possibilities, rather than the negative ones. And I feel like that is like the winning strategy here. It definitely feels like you're ready to move past that time of pain, even if you don't see the path clearly, even if you don't see the solution clearly. I feel this sense of very much trusting Spirit, trusting that the path will become clear to you, and pushing past those fears, pushing past maybe those self-doubts, that uncertainty. You definitely have the motivation and the willpower to push through all of that. And I think that's a really beautiful thing that you're embracing here. With the Five of Pentacles coming out like this, I feel like that may be an area of, yeah, I guess like a hang up to a degree. But it feels more than anything that is how those Three of Swords energies affected you in the past. Like these people, these interactions that you had with others, that is just not, you know, they weren't healthy, they weren't treating you well, they caused you a lot of pain and hurt. It seems like the message you got from that was that you are not worthy, you are not valuable. And so that could be something that pops into your mind. Even if you are trying to embrace that sense of optimism, even if you are trying to trust in Spirit, even if you are trying to move past the fear of the unknown, there is this feeling of insecurity within you, and it's probably definitely caused by people mistreating you. And obviously, this is not the truth. You are a worthy and valuable person. But, you know, to hear that is one thing. It's almost like you need to kind of believe that in order for it to make a true difference. Because you can be told you're worthy and valuable you know, all the time and still not feel that. So that could be like maybe a slight challenge or a bump in the road on your path to overcoming these difficulties, on your path to expecting better or anticipating better connections with others. And it's very interesting too that with this card, the message is kind of like these people outside of the church. They're struggling. They feel like they kind of have to go at it alone, even though like they're at their rock bottom. They're really struggling. They can't really, you know, take good care of themselves. They look very disheveled, like they've been struggling. And then the message that can be read from this is that the church, if they go inside the church where that, you know, the glow in the windows, they have the warmth of the fire inside there, they have maybe even help inside there. It's like they know that that church is there, but maybe they're afraid to ask for help. Maybe they feel like they're not deserving to ask for that help from the church that is in the background. So that kind of just leads me to think about that message I was getting earlier about maybe struggling asking for help, you know, especially when we are struggling ourselves and we need help from others, or we need guidance, or we need support. And since it did come out like that, your insecurity could definitely, or insecurities, or that feeling of being worthless or not valuable, those things could definitely be holding you back from, to be honest, especially in this context, if this is related to the pain from the past when it comes to dealing with others, this could be blocking you from allowing just anyone in, whether it's friends, family, or relationship partners. But I think that it feels like you're overcoming this because it's like the energy of you moving forward is so much stronger than what is holding you back. You see what I mean? Like you have your mind and your heart in the right space. You may have those moments of feeling insecure, feeling worthless, feeling like you can't ask other people for help, that you can't open up to other people because they'll hurt you just the way that everybody else has. Like that could definitely be like a recurring thought or feeling for you, but I don't think that it's anything that you can't overcome. Especially because of that fire you have within, of that desire for optimism, that desire for trusting in spirit and pushing past those fears and moving forward anyways. And then that's followed, that Five of Pentacles is followed by the Knight of Pentacles upright. This is definitely hitting me as like slow and steady wins the race. Like I'm getting take it one day at a time. So it's like, yeah, you don't have to wake up tomorrow and feel like, oh, you know what? I'm completely healed. I don't have those feelings of insecurity anymore. I'm good. I'm confident. Everything's great. Like it's definitely not going to happen overnight, especially if this is some sort of pattern that you've experienced time and time again from people in your life, which that's what it feels like with that Three of Swords, is that you have been hurt by many different people in many different ways in your life. So it's like, of course, all of those years of mistreatment are going to take some time to heal and to overcome and to sort of counteract those negative thoughts, mindsets, and stuff that come along with that. But I feel like this could definitely be what Spirit is sort of encouraging you to do, is just take it one small step at a time. You may not be able to see the complete finished product yet, but that doesn't mean that it's not coming to you. There could also be like a call to patience even. So like if you, maybe you're feeling like, in terms of relationships, maybe you're like, well, where are the people that are going to treat me better? I haven't seen them. So does that mean that they don't exist? And it's like, maybe you should just try and pace yourself and have patience and sort of go with the flow of things, go with the flow of the universe and what spirit has in mind for you. Trusting that spirit has something very good in store for you and in mind for you to experience in your future. This could also be indicating that you wish to rebuild your sense of security within yourself. Like rebuild after this period of time of feeling so worthless, rebuilding your confidence one small step at a time, feeding yourself love one step at a time, counteracting those thoughts and mindsets that you took on as a result of people mistreating you. Because it's like, yeah, you're trying to rebuild how to see yourself. You're trying to rebuild a sense of worthiness, a sense of your own value. And so it may be something that just requires patience and maybe more of like a slow and steady energy rather than, trying to get everything accomplished in one day or, trying to heal yourself in a single winter, or like a single season, because it's like, yeah, those types of things, they take some time. And I want that to be not a bad thing, that they take time. I want that to come across as a hopeful message, because I think that our society and the way that we live, we kind of think and feel like we need to do everything right here, right now. And if we don't, then we're a failure or something. And when it comes to healing, when it comes to rebuilding your sense of worthiness, of self-value, like those things do take time. So don't rush yourself if you're struggling right now with your sense of self, with your sense of security and confidence. That's going to take some time to rebuild, but I feel like you're exactly on the path to doing just that. Because it definitely feels like you have a brighter future ahead of you. And then with that Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck, let me see what that's about. Okay, so this actually could be an outside energy. For some reason, yeah, it's kind of hitting me as like people may want to come into your life to actually treat you right. But yeah, you may be a little bit hesitant to sort of be open to that sort of energy. And I don't blame you, especially with that past there, with that Three of Swords. For some reason, this feels like somebody else's energy, and it's like they want to come in to ease your burden is what I'm getting. Or like this is somebody with energy that wants to use their energy to help you in some way. That's what I'm getting. I mean, this could be, it doesn't even have to be necessarily romantic. It could be somebody that really wants to be your friend and support you. This could be somebody that wants to help you with your work projects if you have a lot on your plate right now. This could even be a therapist. Yeah, like, somebody that wants to genuinely help you and support you, especially if you are struggling at this current moment. And maybe you need some sense of guidance or somebody else to sort of help give you guidance or support. Yeah, it really does feel like, okay, I'm getting the message, help is at hand. So I do think that you may have somebody around you, at least one person that genuinely does want to support you and show you what you are worthy of. and show you what all of those past people should have shown you to begin with. That you are worthy, that you are valuable, that you are worthy of being loved and cared for and treated well. Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you allow it, I feel like the right people are going to come in towards you. And for some reason it feels reciprocal, so I feel like you're the type of person that maybe typically embodies that sort of energy where you're like, you like to help other people, you like to come in when other people are struggling to help them through a difficult time. And so maybe just being open to that kind of person coming to you for once. It's like if you're open to it, that's exactly how this person wants to show up for you. I like that. There's also like something about growth here, maybe self-development, or maybe just growth in terms of your connections with others, growth in terms of your perspective when it comes to dealing with others. Yeah, it feels like it could be very healing for you, like give you, like, it feels like faith in humanity restored kind of energy, where it's like maybe for a long time you thought people were one way, they were all gonna betray you, they were all gonna hurt you, they were all selfish or whatever. But I feel like this person wants to come in order to show you that not all people are the same. Not everybody's going to hurt you. Some people are genuine and genuinely want to help you. It's like you just have to be open to that. And I think you're working on that. You know, you may not be open immediately to these types of people that want to help you, but it feels like you are willing, you know. Yeah, and it may just take time. You may be somebody that, it takes a little bit of time for you to trust somebody, or it takes a little bit of time before you fully open up to another person. And I say that's perfectly okay. And the right person will take the time, will be patient with you while you're trying to trust, while you're trying to open up to somebody new. The right person will be patient and kind with you and understand, Beautiful. Okay, let's go into the Six of Pentacles now. Please and thank you, Spirit. What is triggering the collective during this time of darkness in relation to the Six of Pentacles? Please and thank you, Spirit. This is interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so clarifying that Six of Pentacles, we have the Hermit, Ten of Wands, the Devil came out this direction, King of Pentacles reversed, then we have the Three of Swords upright, Ace of Wands upright. Bottom of the deck we have Eight of Pentacles. And I find it very interesting that the Devil card came out, considering we have the Devil card at the bottom of the other deck. So I feel like this Devil energy is probably something that may be triggering you during this time. May even be something that you're kind of struggling with. Okay, so this is all clarifying the Six of Pentacles, which is usually about like receiving, maybe a gift, or you giving to others. The Hermit card again. Okay, so double confirmation for Hermit card as well. I feel like this is you reflecting on how you've given to others. I feel this sense of you looking back on your past, and it almost even feels like, did those types of investments pay off? Or maybe Like, did they pay off, or what was I taken advantage of? Say if you were giving and received nothing back in return. I feel like there's a lot of contemplation and kind of looking back and reflecting on previous investments that you've made, especially with others, or investments you've poured into others. And it's like, okay, what did they actually pay back, or was it just like a bottomless pit? Yeah, that could definitely be part of like what you're reflecting on, especially because that Hermit card is followed by the Ten of Wands, a sense of being very overburdened and carrying everything on your shoulders. Like, I feel like I'm tapping into somebody that really does feel this need, or I don't know, compulsion even, to just take on everything and expect no one to help you, expect nobody to want to help you. Like, it just feels kind of sad. Because I think a lot of the time too, that kind of comes with a feeling of unworthiness, right? If you feel like you have to put everything onto your plate and expect nobody else to help you, and do it all yourself and stuff, it's almost like a sense of like needing to prove your own value or prove your own worthiness. But I feel like you're becoming conscious of this issue here. And it's tiring. You're probably exhausted. Honestly, I feel this sense of just being absolutely exhausted. Maybe, I think I'm connecting to somebody that struggled with burnout, or maybe going through a period of burnout where you're just like, oh, I am so tired. I am so burnt out from everything that I've been trying to do. And burnout is real, and it can affect you very seriously. So, well, I mean, I think it's a really good thing that you're aware that you're maybe putting a little too much on your plate. It just, yeah, I'm tapping into somebody that just feels like, okay, it doesn't matter that I'm burnt out. I have to still keep going at the same level that I have been. Like, it's like you feel like this need to like live up to your own expectations of yourself, even if that's completely unrealistic, because you're a human. At the end of the day, it's okay to rest. It's okay to take a break from things. It's okay to ask other people for help with things. And so it just like, it's just an unfortunate feeling, because it's like, it feels very much like I am struggling. I have so much on my plate, but I feel like I can't help, or I can't get help from others, or I can't ask other people for help. And it's just gonna stay this way, and I'm stuck like that. Like, that's kind of the energy that the Ten of Wands is kind of giving me in this moment. Just so much on your plate, so much overburdening. But there is that consciousness with that Hermit. You are reflecting on this. You are seeing the patterns that you fall into, of maybe taking everything on and expecting no help, and struggling with asking for help even. There is like this awareness that you're gaining. And I think partially it's probably coming from like, I can no longer keep this up as I have been, And then the Devil card coming out in this direction. This may sound a little bit weird. I'm not sure how that's going to come across, but because the Devil card can deal with addictions and, toxicities, and, well, it deals with a lot of that, a lot of stuff. I think there's like this, well, definitely the realization that this is not serving you at the very least, but also it almost feels like you may even be slightly addicted to giving your all in everything, and almost addicted to trying to do everything by yourself. almost addicted to not asking other people for help, not opening up to other people about how you're struggling. And I feel like you're seeing this pattern, you're seeing this, it's a hard word to use, toxicity, with that, because it's like, I don't know if that's necessarily toxic. I mean, it's toxic to you, but I don't know if it's like toxic to everyone in the situation. But actually, that may be what that could be indicating, is like the toxicity could come with, and this is something I personally had to figure out for myself, is when you take on everything, and maybe you're even taking on other people's responsibilities, or you know, if you are that person that everybody goes to for advice, for help, for things like that, if you are always stepping in to help others, if you are always taking on other people's responsibilities and you know, their burdens for them, you're not allowing that person to overcome those challenges on their own. And that could actually negatively impact that person in the long term, because not only do they become codependent on others to solve their problems, but they also don't build up confidence within themselves. Because when I think about my personal confidence, it comes from me looking back on my past and seeing what I've overcome, the difficulties I've overcome, the situations that I've overcome, you know, all of those types of things that I have personally faced, overcome, gotten past. And I feel like that's where confidence truly comes in, is by recognizing your own strength and realizing how capable you truly are. So if you are that kind of person to be like, okay, give me your baggage, give me whatever you're dealing with, I'll figure it out for you, you're not allowing that person to build up their own sense of confidence, because they'll never be able to build up that sense of confidence in themselves if they're not allowed to try for themselves, if they're not allowed to go through those difficult situations in life. Because we all have those moments, right, where things are overwhelming, where we feel like we can't possibly get through this difficult time, that we need somebody else to help us through it. And sure, you can support people through those difficult times, of course, but you don't have to take on their baggage, their responsibilities, their challenges, because not only is it not your responsibility, but it could actually hinder that other person's growth, even hinder their self-confidence, their ability to face those types of challenges and have faith that they can overcome them on their own, which I feel like is very important for humans, to find that sense of, you know, feeling like, okay, I think I can, you know, because I have done this in the past and that showed that I could do it, you know? So yeah, I feel like you're becoming super conscious of these types of things. And maybe, yeah, you're like really deeply looking at it now. And maybe even from that sort of perspective of like, not only am I being unfair to myself, but I'm being unfair to the people that I'm trying to help, you know? And I don't think that you're like intentionally not helping people, of course. I think you're coming from a place of true kindness, compassion, and wanting to help others, but you just may not see that you helping somebody is not actually helping them. And that can be a very difficult lesson to learn, especially when it comes to our loved ones, because of course the people that we love and we support and that are the closest to us, of course we don't want them to struggle, of course we don't want them to go through difficult things in life. But the thing is, life is full of difficult moments and struggles and things that we ourselves have to overcome for ourselves, so that we can build up our confidence in ourselves, so that we can have a better self-esteem, insecurity within ourselves. Yeah. I feel like you're definitely acknowledging all of this. I find it very interesting that the King of Pentacles came out in the reverse. And then that was followed by the Three of Swords, Ace of Wands. Because the King of Pentacles in the reverse, for some reason... So the King of Pentacles upright is like somebody that's abundant, secure in themselves, confident. And I'm almost even getting like maybe through setting up your life in such a way where you are taking on so much and not asking other people for help and not expecting anything in return. It almost even feels like maybe you're even... I don't know. It feels like you're doing yourself a disservice. It feels like you are super worthy. You're like, you are the King of Pentacles upright, but when you are giving and giving and giving to like a bottomless pit, or you're putting everything on your plate, everything on your shoulders, like carrying everything, taking on other people's responsibilities, other people's struggles, other people's baggages, like it almost... I don't know if I would... Because it's not necessarily that it's removing that power from you, but I think rather it feeds into a sense of lack within you. Like the sense of feeling like it's taking away your power, or the feeling that it's taking away your power and maybe making you more insecure. And okay, for some reason I'm getting something about validation as well. So maybe like you even hope that at the end of you taking on everybody else's stuff and doing it for them, that maybe at the end of it you'll get some sort of congratulations and you'll finally be appreciated and you'll finally be told how valuable and worthy you are. But that moment may never come, and that's what may make you feel this way. This sense of lack of worthiness, lack of security in yourself, lack of confidence. But again, you are aware of this. You're aware of this happening. And there could be something about needing to maybe even make healthy boundaries with others that you're realizing. Because I think that when you start to do that, you start to make boundaries with others, you start to, not take on other people's stuff. You allow them to work through it on their own. Of course, you still love and support them, but you don't take on it for them. I feel like that could definitely turn it around for you, so that you can start to feel like this King of Pentacles upright, Because you're just so capable. You're so skillful. You are a fighter. Okay, so for some reason I'm getting pick your battles. Choose your battles. Yeah, because like not every battle, not every struggle, not everything is meant for you to manage. Sometimes it's other people that need to go through that struggle. It's other people that need to face those challenges. But because you're such a fighter, you may feel like you need to fight on behalf of other people, And I don't think that that's like conscious necessarily. And I don't think that that is coming from a place of trying to control things or anything like that. I think it definitely comes from a place of true, genuinely wanting to help, Yeah. That Three of Swords, which double confirmation for Three of Swords. We had the Three of Swords earlier. It does feel like when you're in those moments of feeling very insecure, when you're looking back on the fact that you gave to everyone and got nothing in return, the fact that you're trying to take on everything, take on other people's stuff, I think it definitely comes from your life experience. And maybe you were put into situations throughout your life where you felt like that was necessary. maybe even necessary to your own survival. You may have felt that way. But I think you're reaching this point of like being conscious of how your past is affecting your present. Didn't realize my septum was crooked. Yeah, because it's just like, if I continue down this path, it's just going to be full of sadness and feeling insecure, not fulfilled. You know, and that's another thing too, is like when you're taking on other people's stuff, it's like, when do you make the time for yourself? What about your own goals? What about your own achievements that you want to achieve in your life? That's why it's so important to not take on everything, especially for other people, because you deserve to be prioritized as well. And sometimes when you prioritize other people over yourself, it's sort of reminding yourself that, oh, I'm not as worthy as other people. I'm not, you know, as important as those other people. Even if you're not consciously saying that, that could be how you feel or how it makes you feel when you are always constantly doing everything for everyone else and neglecting yourself even. And you just want to move past that. I feel like you're very much done with that. And that's followed by the Ace of Wands. I feel like this feels like inspiration or motivation or something. Like, I feel like this sense of it feels like clarity that comes with realizing that something has to change here. You also could be desperately wanting to get tapped back into your own passions, maybe passion projects, the things that truly fuel you, feed your soul, your heart, your sense of self-worth, help you achieve those goals, or at least get closer to achieving those goals. I feel like there's like this need, this desire to redirect this energy towards yourself for once. It feels very much like you, yeah, like you may not feel as worthy as other people, but it's like now you're realizing that I can feed into myself. I can focus on myself. I can focus on my goals and achieving my goals, because I am just as worthy as anyone else. And it feels like when you come to that realization of yourself being worthy, just as worthy as other people, I feel like there's going to be a lot of growth that comes with that. And like, how do I word that? There's something about, yeah, it feels like a redirecting your focus onto self. And I feel like maybe that's exactly what you need during this time. And oh my gosh, it didn't even click, but as I was saying, maybe passion projects, you know, the things that truly make you happy, and the things that are like maybe on the path to you achieving something, like working towards a goal. I feel like that's what this Eight of Pentacles is all about. It almost feels like maybe you're even picking up a project that you haven't worked on in some time, and you start to feel that sense of like excitement for it again. To me, I think of like artwork, you know, like I like to paint from time to time, and I haven't in a while. And so if I suddenly got that like inspiration, like, oh, I want to paint something, and I like started to paint something, it could be something like that where it's like, oh, I have an outlet now for my creativity and I have so many cool ideas and I can't wait to, you know, express them. Like, I feel like this renewed sense of inspiration, motivation when it comes to your projects, the things that are worth the investment, the things that are actually going to pay off for you. And also help you feel a sense of purpose. Like, I do feel like, yeah, it's like you're just ready to turn that energy that you've been turn that energy that you've been, you know, using on everyone else, turning it back to yourself so that you can find a sense of fulfillment, and a sense of purpose, a sense of embracing who you truly are and what you want, you know, and building things for yourself that will last a long time. It really does feel like a renewed sense of investing in yourself, believing in yourself even. Okay, I'm getting the message, something to look forward to. And that's another thing too, is like sometimes it's nice to have those kinds of projects, especially this time of year, you know, colder seasons, less daylight hours, finding some sort of hobby, finding some sort of outlet for your creativity, such as painting. Doesn't have to be necessarily, but you know, it almost helps you get that spark for life again, that spark of excitement, you know, as you wake up every day, you know, something you can look forward to. Yeah. Okay, I am gonna break out the Oracle deck now, and I'm gonna just see if Spirit has any advice when it comes to these triggers that have been, you know, triggering you during this time of darkness. Okay, please and thank you, Spirit. Do you have any advice for the collective when it comes to these triggers that they are experiencing during this time? Please and thank you. Please and thank you. Any advice? Any advice? Okay, thank you. Ooh, beautiful. Okay. So we have observe. Sometimes the reflection is like strong, so I want to make sure that you guys can actually see it. Opportunity beckons. Heart chakra. Bottom of the deck. Just breathe. So I think that the observe card is the Hanged Man, if I'm correct. Honestly, this feels a lot like what you have been doing. Because it feels like you are sitting in the present moment and reflecting and maybe even observing like those maybe habits or ways of being that are not serving you. Becoming aware of that, becoming aware that that is not sustainable, that you cannot continue doing that, and you know, the wisdom that comes with realizing that that is a pattern of behavior, or that is something that you're struggling with. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the book afterwards to make sure that I'm right about that, but I think it's the Hangman. Yeah. It's very much kind of like, and if you think about the Hanged Man, it's about like being in a sticky situation that doesn't feel fun. You don't want to be there, but it helps you see things much clearer because you're in that moment. So maybe you are going through something a little bit difficult at the current moment, but it's helping you see how you may be, you know, partially letting yourself down by focusing on everybody else or putting too much on your plate, not focusing enough on yourself. You're definitely coming to realizations that are very important for you to come to as you are reflecting and in that time of observation. Opportunity beckons. I know that these are supposed to be like the minor arcana of the tarot, or like representing in their own way. I can't remember which one this one is. It might be the Four of Pentacles, I'm not sure. But anyways, opportunity beckons. And it's interesting because it's opportunity beckons, but the figure here, he's actually like standing at this like balcony and he's looking down, which I feel like maybe not where he's supposed to be looking. Like maybe he's meant to be looking out at the world and seeing all the, you know, opportunities and all of the wonderful things, but he's maybe a little bit distracted. And this could even be like within his own mind being distracted. You know, sometimes we're thinking about something, we're a million miles away from the present moment. And so we're like thinking about like, oh geez Louise, I have this stressful project coming up and I don't know how I'm going to do it. And it's like you miss the whole conversation of who you're talking to because you're just thinking about that the whole time. So yeah, I feel like that could be something that you're kind of struggling with, or becoming aware of maybe. There could also be a call to being more so in the present moment. Because it's like, yeah, when you're in the present moment, you can see opportunities that you may not be able to see if you're stuck in your mind all the time, overthinking things. And you may even see that things that you didn't even think were possible, that you didn't even see that those opportunities were open to you. Being willing to look out and look around and be in that present moment, that could bring that to your awareness. Like, oh, I do have an opportunity here. Or, you know, something is taking place that is good for me and can help me grow, can help me become more happy and fulfilled. Because I do think that there is a lot more happiness when it comes to being in the present moment rather than thinking about things, especially thinking about the future or the past, you know. Yeah. And then the heart chakra. It feels almost like this could be spirit sort of responding to the Three of Swords energy, where so many people and relationships have hurt you in life. And so maybe rebuilding that self-love, or just rebuilding your heart space and, you know, healing your heart space. Maybe online YouTube heart chakra meditations, healing meditations could be helpful for you. Maybe just doing things that help you feel happy in that heart space, help you feel loved, help you feel like love is around you. Also, I just realized this is a 4 card. There's a 4 at the top of this one. There's a 4 at the top of this one. And at the bottom of the deck, with the Just Breathe card, there's also a 4 up there. So 4, 4, 4 could be significant, or 4s in general. Yeah, the Just Breathe, I feel like, is definitely kind of bringing me back to that idea of like being in the present moment. When we take those deep breaths, when we take some time to care for ourselves, take a step back from things, rest. There's a lot of enlightenment that can come from that, taking that time to do that. And wisdom and guidance even. Yeah. You may feel a sense of things becoming much more clear when you do take the time to be in the present moment and meditate or breathe or connect to spirit, or, you know, just take good care of yourself. There could be a lot of good that comes from that. And that could be what spirit is trying to guide you to do during this time. Be in the present moment and see what is truly around you. And it may surprise you and it may make you very happy. I think I'm just going to break out the book to make sure that I'm right about the Observe card. Yep, it is the Hangman. Okay. And I'm curious about the Opportunity Beckons one. Okay, so that is the... Oh, it's the 4 of Cups. Okay. Yeah. So it's almost like being a little bit fed up with your current situation, or being bored or uninspired or something. And so maybe focusing on yourself and being in the present moment in a positive way will help redirect that energy. And at the bottom of the deck, that Just Breathe card, I'm pretty sure is the 4 of Swords. Yes. Right. Yes, that's a 4 of Swords energy. So yeah, definitely resting, meditating, taking time for yourself, and maybe even just being comfy cozy could help you a lot during this time. Feeding yourself, feeding what makes you happy, what makes you feel content. That may be exactly what spirit is guiding you towards during this time. Okay, so that is the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that it resonated. If it resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective, because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. Thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you. Oh, and if you'd like to see more of my videos in the future, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you next time I upload. Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.